All right, guys, so just got back from Lake Santee Cooper. It was a lot of fun. I had a great first day, not so much the second day, but been a little busy running around the country fishing tournaments and stuff. I got one more at Lake of the Ozarks, so wish me luck on that. But it's fall time, so I want to go over 3 of my favorite techniques, favorite baits, as well as my setups I use for fall fishing. Like I said, we're in mid-September now, and it can be a real challenging time of year. But it can be a lot of fun too. And I've really kind of, I don't know, I guess made it really simple this time of year. I fish shallow and I fish fast. However, I do have one bait that I really like fishing slow with if the right presentation or the right situation presents itself. So let's start off with this. So first of all, fall to me, well, I throw a buzzbait year round, but buzzbait time for me. This here is a Jackall Firecracker. I got some big double buzzes. I got some single buzzes. Anyway, you know, a buzzbait, I did a little video at Tackle Warehouse talking all about the what to know about buzzbait fishing, how to do it, the different types. So make sure and check out tacklewarehouse.com. There's a full video going to be on there. But anyway, white, right? This time of year, like I said, the Firecracker makes a unique noise. Just fishing it on the surface, right? Covering a lot of water, whether you're in a grass lake or just rocks or laydowns or wood or docks. I mean, a buzzbait in the fall to me just means you get bit. I like white, but again, you know, if I have an overcast day or everybody else is throwing white, I'll go with a black bait. Now let's talk about the rod, okay? You can see this is a different kind of Daiwa rod. It's a DXB. This here is a collaboration between Daiwa and Tackle Warehouse, 7'4", and they designed it to be a frog rod. But the more I've fished with it, the more I like it for throwing these bigger baits. You know, even the big Chopo or plopper style baits, it'll throw it just fine. And this is what I was throwing at Santee. I caught a 7-pounder on it, a 6-pounder. Had to get them out of the grass, so this was the right rod for the job. Like I said, 7'4". Now the reel, this here is a 7'3" Tatula SVTW. I just like that gear ratio. I can slow it down if I want, or I can speed it up if I want. If I'm coming around a piece of structure where I might get snagged, you know, some grass or something. And then the braid, this here is the Sunline Siglon PE AMZ. I throw 60, I recommend at least 50, especially for the buzzbait. Vicious strikes occur when you're throwing this, so you don't want to break off, but super awesome line for casting. The distance on there and the coating that they have, it's really, it just makes fishing this no problem. I mean, I fished with this for 4 straight days and it's still ready to go. Okay, so then, you know, let's say they're not really eating my top water bait that good, but it looks right. I see a bunch of little bait fish, little shad, whatever, dimpling the surface, some fish chasing them. I've said it time and time again, a Jackall TN70. Everybody thinks is a lipless crankbait as only a springtime bait, but this to me in the fall, I've won a lot of money throwing a TN70 anywhere from Clear Lake to Florida, honestly. So, you know, this here, chrome blueback, that's one of my go-to colors, ghost minnow. You know, you kind of let the water clarity dictate the color you're going to throw. And like same with the buzzbait, covering a lot of water. And again, whether you're fishing grass or rocks or riprap or docks, whatever, for whatever reason, lipless crankbait, especially that sound right there, it just gets them this time of year. Now let's talk about the rod. You can see right here, I got another DXB Tackle Warehouse collaboration. I've had these for about 1.5 years, so I've really got to play around with them, and they've made a couple modifications which are really good. This here's a 7'5" heavy glass rod. So for throwing all kinds of reaction baits, right? Like vibrating jigs or spinner bait, I chose the lipless crankbait. It's a really good rod. It's got some glass, got a lot of glass in it, so you can see that parabolic bend. Really does a nice job when you hook those fish. And I love the 7'5" length because you can make a long cast, and a lot of time this time of year, that's what you want is long casts, make many casts and cover a lot of water for those finicky fall bass. And then a Tatula Elite 7:1 to gear ratio reel. I like that 7-to-1. Like I said, I'm covering a lot of water. I'm not slow cranking this thing. So 7-to-1 is a perfect for me. And then I throw it on always, always, always. Unless I'm throwing maybe a TN50 or something like that, I always throw 16-pound Crank FC by Sunline. It's just my go-to line when I'm throwing lipless crankbaits, or any crankbaits for that matter, but 16-pound. When you're throwing, I recommend if you're throwing anywhere from a half-ounce size or up, that's what you want. Excuse me. Now, let's get into, the fishing got kind of slow, but I'm around some productive areas. Maybe I've had some bites on the Buzzbait. Maybe I've got a few bites on the TN70. And there's some laydowns, there's some docks, there's some, stumps, there's a little bit of grass maybe left this time of year. A jig, right? I mean, I love flipping a jig. And again, you hear about it early spring, maybe late fall, early winter. But this time of year, you can catch some really, really big ones. And it's really effective to cover a lot of water. This is a half-ounce size. I also have a 5/8 ounce if I'm fishing a little bit deeper water. It's not one of those things where I'm flipping it in there and kind of, please bite it, please bite it. I mean, I'm covering water in and out, in and out, in and out. And that color right there is called a DB Special. So you kind of see it's kind of camo right there. To me, it could, it's a bluegill, it's a crappie, it emulates a lot of different things. I chose the Z-Craw. This is what I was throwing the other day. The baby Z-Craw on there. If I want a bigger presentation, the Super Chunk by Zoom is really good. Or just the standard big salty chunk, depending. But I like something with a little bit of flap this time of year because there's still a lot of activity going on. Now this here is the new jig that a buddy of mine, Randall Tharp, developed. It's made by Arc, and it's Randall's signature series jig. He spent a lot of time, and Randall's extremely, he's just one of the best with a flipping stick and a jig. So I trust his development. He made that hook right there is super, super sweet. I mean, the little bit that I've had this jig, maybe about 6 months now, I can't remember a fish that I've lost on it, due to the hook. And then like the head design, I like the way that the line tie, is offset with the point of that hook. So when you set the hook, it's driving that hook right up into the fish. So just awesome jig. They got some other colors. There's one called Milkman, which I don't know where he got that from, but that's really cool. And then the line, right? So I've got to be where 22-pound shooter right here by Sunline is my go-to. Unless it's extremely clear and I'm fishing a little deeper, then I'll go to 20-pound shooter. But I like that shooter just because if I hang one in a laydown or around the dock piling, I can get them out with that extremely abrasive line. So really, really good right there. And then let's talk about the rod. 7'6" flipping stick Tatula Daiwa rod. That's been my pretty much go-to flipping stick. Like I said, 7'6" flipping rods right there on the rod. Tatula. It's really good, like really sensitive. I love having the cork handles, and then the reel, right? 8-to-1 Tatula Elite flip pitch reel. This is, you can see it's got the bigger handles compared to the normal Tatula Elite reel. So I like that. Makes me feel like, when I hang a big one, I can wrench them out of there. Awesome drag system. And yeah, like I said, just covering a lot of water with the first two baits and then kind of doing a little cleanup. Like I said, if I come around a corner and there's a lay down there and they don't bite my Buzzbait, or one nips at it, coming out of a tree with that TN70, I know I'm going to catch them with that jig. So all this stuff right now, I think is available at Tackle Warehouse. The rods should be in stock by now. And anyway, I hope this helps. And like I said, this time of year can be tough fishing, in the fall, but you can catch some really, really big ones if you have the right baits.